Well, we probably should play the music. What do you think here? Let's see.
All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's up, everybody? Here we go. We got some Wednesday night baseball. Hey, I'm missing my normal partner here, Title, but hey, that's all right. We got us a new participant over here in the show today, Mr. BJ, who usually fills in for us on the weekend. Kicks some ass for us, been smashing over there. But hey, BJ, glad to have you in on Wednesday. I think you're going to be with me on some Wednesdays now as Title moves over to do some best ball content. But hey, who doesn't like having a BJ join them on Wednesday? But hey, glad to have you, my friend. How's it going?
Hell yeah, man. I'm really excited. I'm excited to get going on these Wednesdays, and you guys will see more of me. So you're stuck with me for a little bit. So hopefully you can get some winners going.
Hey, absolutely. We always are calling winners. I mean, shit. Yesterday, Title literally was saying, hey, man, let's ride some A's. You know, we were talking about the A's being the cheap stack. And if you went back and did your research that we always talk about, you should have been researching the A's and the Red Sox shipped it all last night. So, you know, that was definitely something you needed to have. And then the good thing is we did talk a little bit about Brian Bello a little bit. I actually got a couple DMs, BJ. I put them in my core, talked a little bit about them, had a couple people, questioning why. I was like, hey, the A's suck, man. Gives up 2 runs. I get a couple DMs. Hey, he's not looking good. Bello's not looking good. I was like, just calm down a few. Next thing I know, the dude struck out like 10. His first 10 outs were strikeouts or something like that, And then the killer was the big 3-run bomb there at the end. They should have yanked him out because he was already like mid 90 pitches. I was like, come on, man, let's just get this guy out. He gives up a 3-run bomb, cost us 9 more points. But either way, he was on the winner. But the A's and Red Sox kicked some ass. We called the Mariners. I had Kyle Riley written up yesterday in my one-offs. He smashed yesterday. Julio smashed yesterday. So the Mariners did pretty well. Like those guys, had them in one of my stacks. But hey, it was a pretty good day yesterday. But we're going to kick some ass here again today. Hit the third box in the move the black box up. Mr. Titletown says. But hey, before we do that, Mr. Title, hit the third box in to move the black box up. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe this one? There we go. I think that's what he's talking about. But hey, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. We got Sean here with us, Parabay, Michael W., Keith Vape, what's up? Michael Peterson. Of course, we got Titletown with us. Keep Vape there is having some fun. What? Yeah, 230 plus. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You needed, I think it was the $15 one was like $298. You were like shy of 300, I think you had to have over there on FanDuel. But yeah, see, I must have did it right. Title's giving me the fire emoji.
Just trying to get some chat interaction. That's all it was.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So we got Adam joining us too here. But hey, we got us a nice 10-game slate here, BJ. We don't got really as much weather to worry about as we did yesterday. We lost 2 games yesterday. We had that little bit of a scare there with the Cincinnati and Colorado game, went in the delay. And then I'm watching the Red Sox game. It was raining a little bit, and I'm like, dude, Bello's crushing. Don't take him out, please. Don't take him out. He was doing pretty well. But, yeah, we got 10 games. Man, I don't know about this slate here. I mean, pitching is a little interesting. Some of these guys that are seeing are going to be chalky today, like Valdez and Montas. Pivetta even could have a few scares. But all these guys are interesting. So I think pitching for me is kind of easy. Man, I'll tell you what, hitting, there's literally like 10 teams you could look at that you could argue that you could be your favorite stack here today. So I think hitting is going to be pretty spread out. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that as much. But, I'm just going to try to narrow on some pitching here. I think that's where I think you're going to have to hone it in. There isn't too many options like yesterday. We had all kinds of options. But, yeah, a little bit concerned with the pitching here today. But what do you think of the slate?
Exactly what you said, actually. You know, we have, I always like slates where you get some pitching options that are going to be popular that you don't necessarily love. You know, I'll call them the average pitcher bucket. So we see both those guys in there today that are, you know, just be matchup based. That's why they're popular. So I'm looking to get a little bit different in some of these pitching options. And like you said, the bats, there's a handful of different ways we can go. So no weather issues, and excited to kind of make some fun lineups and get a little different than others.
Yeah, sounds good. I think yesterday, didn't we? I think on FanDuel we had 5 guys that were like over 10K or something. And today, like on DK, there's literally like 7 dudes over 8K. It's like the pitching drop off is astronomical. But let's go over pitching real quick. Let's just talk about what we got. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys over 8K over on DK, starting out with Logan Webb up on top. But I mean, I look at it here. There's only really 2 or 3 guys here that I'm really even interested in this top level. But what do you think here from 8K and above?
I would agree. A small handful. We'll start with Petta. He's going to be pretty popular. I don't think as popular as Valdez, but, you know, 28% strikeout rate, you know, going against the A's in a spot where, you know, they're second highest strikeout team versus right-handed pitching in the MLB. So he would fall as my top option. And then we talk about Valdez being popular. I'm looking at both the pitchers in that San Francisco game, both Webb and Bassett. So kind of going to get different there. And I'm going to mention Morton, Charlie Morton. He's been destroying left-handed pitching over the last 30, or left-handed hitting over the last 30 days. So those are really my 5 that I'll talk about in that area. Pivetta being my favorite. What do you think about Webb and Bassett in that game?
I don't mind either or. Webb, you know, Webb for me, I just don't like attacking the Blue Jays. They just don't seem to really get me there with the pitching. The upside isn't there for Ks that I'm looking for. I mean, I want upside with my pitching, and both of them for me just really, neither one of them really tickle it for me. So, I mean, I really like Pivetta at 96. Obviously, we get Oakland. We saw what Bello did to him. Oakland's got, you know, 6 dudes over 30% strikeout rate. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's one of the teams we like to chase against. You know, we like, you know, the Marlins, the White Sox, the Tampa Bays, the Seattles. You know, these are the teams that, you know, are just obviously high strikeout rates. Stone, I mean, he's been a good pitcher, man. The hitting weather's too good there. I mean, he's been decent in real life, but, man, it's just kind of scary. And the Phillies are going to be even more scary with Schwarber and Harper coming back. So that's a nope for me. Sanchez, too much of a ground ball pitcher. I'm not even interested in that. I don't see any upside. And plus it's the Dodgers. No thanks. And then you're looking at, Framber. Everybody's going to, the Marlins. The Marlins suck. They're going to look at Framber. I don't know, man. 8,300. Sure. I think he's going to be pretty popular on DK. I think Framber is going to be popular on DK. I think Pivetta is going to be the popular one on FanDuel. But I think with Framber here, man, like, isn't it pretty easy to fade Framber here for me? I mean, I just not really, I don't know, man. The upside isn't there for strikeouts. It's just hard for me. He's a ground ball pitcher. I have a hard time here, you know, with this one. So
I do get it though. I do get the price is a little too cheap. There's no power in that lineup. It makes sense to me, especially with some of these stacks we have going on. But I mean, what is it going to be 30-40% owned? So I just can't get behind that.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be in that percentile pretty much as well. So, you know, it's just hard for me to play a guy. I'm just not really happy with his upside. Now, Pivetta is a guy, sure, he does give up some power sometimes, especially the right side. But I'm not really too worried about that here today, you know, especially against Oakland. I mean, I'm not really that concerned. So, you know, he's a guy here that I'm definitely looking at. He's my top pitcher today. I would be pretty happy to say that. I mean, we got a little bit of options down below. I mean, you look at everything down below from 8K, you know, Myers, you know, I just not really happy with that. Waka, he's been okay, but I just, you know, last start he had 28 points, looked pretty good. I mean, St. Louis is a team actually has been hitting pretty well here recently. So I don't know if I really want to go there. You know, then you keep going down. Montas. I mean, everybody's going to think, okay, we got Montas for 7K against the Colorado team who's been really bad. So, yeah, you're looking at that. But, man, I have a hard time rostering Montas here. That's hard. Montas is going to be pretty chalky, I think, on DK. I think you're going to see quite a few Montas lineups with Valdez. I think you could see that quite a bit. So people aren't going to be paying $15K for pitching. Bats are going to be pretty plentiful. You're going to see some Brave stacks. You're going to see Ranger stacks, stuff like that. Red stacks with Ellie. You're going to see I think you're going to be able to play whatever bats you want. I think there's some pitching today options that are out there, but I think Montas is going to be like a 30% owned pitcher here today. And he's 7K. You look at Sears, man, I just can't do it. I mean, he's pretty weak against right-handed pitching. He's okay. He's pretty good against lefties, which, Boston has definitely more power from the left side, as we know. But, Canning, no thanks, not interesting. Sassoni's the worst he's got the highest home run rate. We'll get to that here later. Obviously, Braves are going to be one of my favorite stacks. And Corbin's garbage, Freeland's garbage. So, I mean, there's really nothing else down here. But I think Montas is a guy that is going to stand out. I mean, if you wanted to look for a pivot, maybe you could look at Sears if you wanted to, because I'm not really happy with the power side on Boston. I think it's risky, but I mean, you could potentially look at that if you wanted to. It's really windy in the Mets stadium. It's like 20, 25 mile an hour winds blowing out. So, Severino, I mean, he's pretty weak to the left side. So I do like some of them lefties over there. But, Lorenzen, no thanks. So, I mean, today pitching is kind of tough. There's only really a handful of guys I like. I'm just going to kind of keep my pool between like Pivetta, Webb. I don't mind Morton. Valdez, I think I'm just going to fade. I think I'm going to fade the top two, what I think chalky guys are, and I'm just going to play a few other guys. Montas, I can't. And I'm not happy with Valdez. And I feel like if I roster him, BJ, I'm going to be mad at myself. Like, I would never roster them guys and here we got a big slate. It's just like, man, I'm just not happy about it. So yeah, it's tough, man. I think pitching for me, I'm glad I'm only playing FanDuel today because I'm playing Pivetta, and that's pretty much going to be it.
Yeah, to jump in about Montas too. I mean, I saw here in the chat, 35, 40% owned. I don't think it'll be that high. I think it's more around that 30% number, but he's gone 6 innings once this season, and he's gone more than 5 strikeouts. He's had 6 or more in 2 starts this season. So that kind of falls in that same bucket as Valdez for me, that, on a normal slate where we have options, you're just not touching them. And because of matchup and scenario today, a lot of people are playing him. So let's jump away from 30% of the field immediately and get headed toward the top. So
yeah, so our boy Parabay said he likes Webb and Waka. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a pairing that's going to definitely make you a little bit different today. That's for sure. Because like I said, I think a good 2/3 of lineups today are going to have either a Valdez or a Montas in it today. So
yeah.
I think being different and being underweight with those guys today is definitely going to be a way that, you can pretty much play any batch you want. I think any stack you want. But I mean, if you wanted to play one of those two, Montas or Valdez, who would you rather play?
Valdez, just because there's no power there. So you'll be able to get away, and I don't see him giving up runs, but he goes deeper as well. So that's really going to be it for me. So I'm staying away from the 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out in Great American Small Park, and I would go Valdez in that situation.
Yeah, I agree with you there. His pitch count's always over 90s. He's in the mid-90s, 104 3 starts ago. So I don't mind that at all. As you mentioned, Miami, basically no power. So yeah, I agree with that there. And then we do the question here from Michael Peterson: would you entertain Perez or Sassoni at all?
I would not. I'm staying out of that range, and I mean, it's just not. I mean, in that range, I know they're a little bit more expensive, but the lowest I'm going is Myers and Waka, and that's because they both have that 21, 22% strikeout rate with the 7% walk rate, and they're going to be able to be okay for you, even if they give up a few runs. Waka, I just saw this right now. His last 8 starts hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs. So I think he falls into that bucket at 7,600 that, you just kind of put him in there. You'll take your 16, 17 points, whatever it may be, but I won't go lower than that.
Yeah, I don't mind Waka and FanDuel, especially for that reason there too, just because you look at his game log too. I mean, his last 1, 2, 3, 4, five out of 8. He's been over the 6-inning mark. So of those starts you mentioned, he's earned a quality start. So something you definitely want to try to get over on FanDuel, that is for sure. But just kind of looking here, talking about Perez, I wouldn't be interested in Perez. That dude has no strikeout upside. I mean, no thanks. I mean, you're just basically hoping he doesn't give up any hits, especially over on DK. FanDuel, there's no way. And Sassoni, that dude is really, that's somebody I'm going to be attacking today. I can tell you that for sure. I mean, he has the highest home run rate. Braves, too good of a team. I'm going to stay away from that one there too. But I do think that pitching for me, like I said, on FanDuel, Pivetta isn't for me. I think you could definitely go Waka if you wanted to go there. But for you, I know you're playing a little more on DK. Who do you got? Is just rank your top 3 or 4 pitchers for me.
Pivetta 1. I'm probably going to say Webb 2, and that's going to be the same comment from Aaron here. I think a Webb 22, 23, maybe 24 points will be okay for you, even at his elevated price tag relative to the slate. So Pivetta, Webb, and then it becomes kind of a tie between Bassett for me and Waka. Those two kind of fall in, and then I'll fall into the chalk with Valdez and Montes.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like that. Like I said, I got Pivetta 1. I'm going to go with the FanDuels. I got Pivetta 1, Waka 2. Then I'm going to go Webb just because of the pricing. And then I'd probably go down to Valdez and then maybe Bassett. But the Valdez is only for me just because I think he's not going to be as popular on FanDuel. So I think he's going to be he'll be way more popular over on DK, I think. Montas will be as well. So, but as we mentioned, not too much weather we got to be concerned about with bats. But I think, here today, there's some pretty warm weather across the country. If you look at these over-unders here today, man, we got 3 9.5s, a 10. And then we're sitting there looking at a couple of 8.5s. And then we got the 7 in the late game with Bassett and Webb here tonight. But man, pretty much all these games got over under of 9 or higher. So, and I mean, it's going to be pretty spread out today, I think, the offense. But, man, I'll tell you what, I think for me, there's a few offenses that really stand out, BJ, and we'll go over them here game by game here. But we'll start off here with this Dodgers game and Philly game. So we're sitting at 9.5 total, Dodgers at Philadelphia. We got Gavin Stone on the hill for the Dodgers, and then we have the ground ball pitcher, Christopher Sanchez, for the Phillies. What do you like here? Anything in this game? I think the Phillies, for me, stand out a little bit. They're getting Schwarber and Harper back, so that is definitely a big boost. Gavin Stone hasn't been bad, so it's not really like I feel comfortable full stacking here against Gavin Stone, but I think somebody like Schwarber and Harper are definitely guys that you could look at here. But what do you think about this one?
Those are my exact 2 one-offs. I think, what is it? It's 85 degrees, wind's blowing out, and it's humid. So it's one of those spots where if you just kind of, put 2 teams, didn't have their names, didn't have salaries exposed, you say you want to play this game. But like what you said, you got, some pretty decent real-life pitchers on the mound, and prices are a little high. So it's going to be tough for me to stack this game as much as you want to, with some Dodgers injuries. They haven't been, scoring the amount of runs that you would like to see to stack. So plus you add on that ground ball pitcher, like you said. But my exact one-offs are exactly that, Schwarber and Harper. And then for the Dodgers side, I see it in chat. I don't know if it came out, but Will Smith's not in the lineup tonight. I'm going to check that.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, because that was going to be my only one-off there.
Rojas, Taylor, Kike, do you love me? And then we got Barnes. So, yeah, that's interesting. I thought with a ground ball pitcher, I mean, what Will Smith's ground ball or fly ball rate's pretty high. So pretty surprised that they didn't have him. He's actually got the highest at 44.8%. So kind of surprised. I guess they just want to give him a day off. But I'm a little surprised about that. But, just kind of looking here at the chat. Wallner just went deep. I'm telling you guys, I went to a Minnesota game last year. That dude is a fucking linebacker. Like, he is huge. And the sound of the ball off his bat was different than everybody else. So that guy smokes the shit out of baseballs. And, to see that guy hitting 9th the other day, I was like, whoa, how many guys do we get like that hitting 9? that can just smoke the shit out of baseballs. Usually these 9-hitters are little, this little guy, little fellas that can't hit for shit. But Dimitri, appreciate the shout out there for the Bello call. Like I said, started out a little rough. We gave up 2, but hey, he gave some, what do you have, 10, 12 Ks, something silly like that. But man, it's just the A's. The A's are so bad. I mean, we're going to be looking at that here again today. So yeah, I mean, those are teams we like to chase. The strikeout rate is astronomical. They got 6 dudes over 28%. I mean, that's just that's a bit much. That is for sure. But yeah, so moving on here to the next game that we have is the big boy here, Oakland and Boston, sitting there over under 10.5. Boston, I mean, this was game stack yesterday. We talked about it a little bit longer than most games. Title was all over the A's, talking about it was his favorite low-owned stack and so forth. Do a little game stack. I saw a couple people talking about that in chat. Man, if you had Bello in that game stack, I think pretty much that was the nut lineup last night and on there. And I mean, if you threw in Riley as one of your one-offs, I mean, that would have probably really been the ticket. But yeah, here we are again. I mean, we got another one. Warm game. We got JP Sears. Sears now struggles against righties quite a bit. His fly ball percentage is up there almost 37% to righties. He doesn't strike out lefties all that much. But, I mean, I just don't like the power here that the Red Sox have. That's why I just don't have them up there as high. But, I mean, Tyler O'Neill, by far, is in a great spot here today. But, Duran's, the Devers and Yoshidas, I mean, it's just he's way better against lefties, that being Sears. So I'm not sure. I'm just not sure either that I'm real happy here today, obviously with Pivetta going against the A's. But you could get some leverage if you want to go back to the A's again today. I'm not going there with the A's. But I think the Red Sox are interesting. I just don't have them as high today just because they are a little bit weaker. Sears is pretty strong against lefties, but kind of weak on the right side.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm more looking minis here. I mean, Connor Wong batting 5th. That's going to be, a popular play for me underneath 4K. And to kind of say what you said for a little leverage, I don't mind, a one-off bat here, whether it be Langoliers or Blade leading off. Maybe a 2-man if you're playing lineups without Pivetta, but I don't see very many stacks to gain, that ultimate leverage and get 3 or 4 batters for the A's in there.
Yeah, so like I said yesterday, good call by Title. Have to give him a shout out. Michael Peterson there, the rants, buddy, they just come natural. Like I can't force them. My kids are like, Dad, you got to sing. Because I'm like a singer in the car and I'll make up my own songs that kind of rhyme with that song or whatever, BJ. So my kids will be like, Dad, you got to sing. And they'll have their phones. They want a video. I'm like, you can't rush greatness. It just comes out. I don't know what happens sometimes. Like yesterday, I don't know what we talked. Somebody said, hey, you get laid in the camper. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't get up in the morning unless I get laid. I'll lay there until she knows she'll get, that's just the way it works. You got to kind of you got to train them when you don't know they're training them. You can't tell them neither, but you don't get up, and they'll think, well, shit, if I need them to get up and do shit, they know what the drill is. I mean, they know. They roll over on you and you'll get up. That's the way it works, BJ.
Hey, it's called grooming, no?
Yeah, kind of. You got to teach them a little bit, and then the one day Michael was laughing out. We started talking about colonoscopies. I'm like, yeah, if you're lucky, you can poop in a box and mail it in. And a lot of youngsters didn't know that you can shit in a box and mail it in, and they'll tell you how you're, if you got any problems. So
yeah, I missed that one too. I'm a little too young for that. So
yeah, hey, I mean, it does happen. But those that me as being a 52-year-old, I try to kind of keep you guys, with life experiences, kind of keep you together, so you don't get all worried about it. It's just the way it happens sometimes. It goes that way, but. Yeah, I mean, I've been through it all. Had the old vasectomies, colonoscopies. I've had them, had the hernia surgery, done that too. I've been through it. I mean, it's all good. It's just, it just sucks recovering most times. But either way, there we go. Got me on a little rant there. But wait, the next game, Colorado and Cincinnati. We're sitting at a 9.5. Man, we got Kyle Freeland, fly ball pitcher, lefty, going here against the Reds. Then we got Frankie Montas, as we mentioned. Now, I will say, there is some leverage to be had here against Frankie Montas here with this Colorado team if you wanted to look that way. So I wouldn't be opposed to some of the lefties here, McMahon especially. I wouldn't be opposed to him. So I do like that one. But man, this Cincinnati team, I'll be honest, I think they're going to be chalk. I'm a little afraid. I've been actually saying how I think they're a little weak. And now here we go. We got him against the lefty. Ellie, that's his weak side. That's Candelario's weak side. I love Steer. I think Steer's a great play here today. But man, I'll tell you what, India's a pretty good play here too. And then, obviously we get this rookie kid Hines, and then, we got the other kid Marte too. So it's a cheaper kind of stack. I think that's why it's going to be popular. Stevenson's cheap catcher too. But man, I'll tell you, I just think I'm just not happy with their power from the right side. So I'm not sure if I can get there in a tournament with Cincinnati. Now, sure, Ellie's a freaking stolen base machine. The dude is fun to watch. I wish he was on the Tigers because I'd be happier and shit. But I mean, Colorado bullpen's terrible. We know that. But man, I just not happy with the power we got here from the right side from Cincinnati. They want to keep up with some of these other warmer weather spots that we got. I'm just kind of concerned about it. What do you think, BJ?
Yeah, no, I'm on them. Like we talked pre-show, you're kind of off them. I think, with Freeland's 10% strikeout rate, with the wind blowing out, with it being warmer, with it being the park, they're obviously going to be popular. I see this as a spot where, you don't necessarily need to hit bomb after bomb. You can hit double, double, double. I think they can kind of tally up, especially, if you were to get a little different in some of these stacks and leave an Ellie out, get that bottom half of the order. I know Hines is going to be popular and I'll most likely be playing him and everything, but, get different in those stacks where you're not playing 2,500, popular spot batting 8. I like them. They're on my list. I know they're popular. I'm going to try and get different though. Like I said, and then the only bat that I have on the Rocky side is Doyle. He's hot, to start July. And I know it's, he's right-handed bat, but he's definitely on my one-off list today.
Yeah, Doyle definitely. I mean, he hits the ball in the air more than anybody else on the Rockies. It's just the reason, like Montas, his weak is the left side. And I think the Rockies are going to be able to throw a handful of them out there at him. Now, I'm not saying a 5-man Rocky stack. I don't even really like the stack. I'm just giving you a reason if you wanted to get some leverage and be ballsy in a big, MME type situation. If you're playing a bunch of teams today, like I wouldn't be afraid to throw in a Rockies because the extreme leverage you're going to get because Montas is going to be up there pretty high owned. I know it's some rough, that's kind of tough to do, but I don't mind that at all. But the Reds for me, I'm going to let everybody else play the Reds here today. And I'll just wait until I get a righty against them. I think the Reds, if I'm going to play them, it's going to be a righty. It's kind of like Cleveland. If I'm going to play them, I want to play them against a lefty. Like, I'm just not going there the other way. It's just you're not going to win. It's like a 1 in 20 chance. I feel like it's just not. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but the odds of it happening aren't as good because you just don't see the power up and down the lineup. But next game we got here, I think, is definitely interesting. We got Washington going into the Mets here. We got a game here with some heavy winds blowing out. We got Patrick Corbin coming up here. I mean, this guy here we're always going after Patrick Corbin. The Mets have been hot. And then we got Severino over on the other side, who is a little bit weaker. Strikeout percentage has been down. Fly ball percentage is kind of high to the left side. So, I mean, are we looking at maybe like an Abrams or a Wood and a Winker? Somebody like that. I mean, Wood and Winker. That's pretty funny. So either way, but hey, I don't mind that Washington maybe has a sneaky kind of stack too. Not saying it's in one of my favorites, but the Mets will definitely be up there as one of my favorites. One of the hottest teams in all of baseball here in the last few weeks. But man, especially here in a situation where we got a lefty like Corbin, and we know already in the past guys like JD Martinez, Lindor, Pete Alonso. I mean, I like these guys. Bader's even pretty decent here against lefties. So, man, I think here the Mets are going to be a top 2 or 3 stack here today, I would assume.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, you loved them pre-show. I'm on the right-handed bats there. Yeah, I was unaware how windy it was in New York, but what is it? 20-mile-an-hour winds, 81 degrees outside. So they're definitely, up on that stack list for me now. National side, I'm just going to look at minis. Love James Wood today. I wish Garcia was a little bit cheaper batting in the 5 spot. But, CJ, I guess at 63, but I think in a situation like that, going back to chat, to Ellie being a walk is a home run, I think the upside there is a little bit higher. for Ellie around that same price tag. What is that? 63 to I believe he's like 63 as well, Ellie. So anyways, no minis for me on the national side, just kind of staying at those 3 batters, James Wood 1 off, and then right-handed bats for the Mets. And it doesn't Pete Alonso sound a little cheap. What is he? 5K, 5.2 or something? I'm going to find that.
Yeah, Alonso is 5.2. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's pretty cheap actually. When Bomb's hiring him, that seems a little odd. But either way, but yeah, I think this one here is really interesting here for the Mets. I think it's a pretty good spot here. I mean, like I said, the Mets just kind of looking this, want to make sure you're saying it right. Their slugging percentage and OPS. Let's see here. Slugging percentage. I know they're up there. Top 9. They're 9. So they've actually kind of been falling backwards here a little bit. But man, they've been smashing. And I like them here, especially against lefty Kyle Freeland, nothing special. And we know many times I've been saying that Colorado bullpen is just god awful.
Yeah, and like look at these
Washington's ISOs. Bullpen. I'm sorry.
No, look at these ISOs last 30 days, 286, 261, 333, 241. So, we got some upside here, and I like that a lot. So,
yeah, absolutely. So now next game we got here sitting at an 8.5. We got Kansas City and St. Louis. Waka here against St. Louis. I'm not really interested in any St. Louis bats. And then we have Gordon Gracio. I'm going to assume that is going to be more of a bullpen type situation. Yeah. So
like what, 3 or 4 innings or so, I'm guessing, maybe.
Yeah, let me just look into here something here real quick. I don't think he's going to. Where did he go last time?
What, 40 some odd pitches?
Yeah, he had 67 pitches last time. So
67.
I think he's only going to get like 3 or 4. They're going to hope to get 3 or 4, maybe one time through the lineup, maybe 1.5 times through. So I'm not really too concerned about him against the Royals, and you end up getting a bullpen game. I mean, we're sitting here looking at a game with 8.5, and as I mentioned, we got so many games in the 9.5s and 10s. I'm just really not enamored with the power on either side here in this one, even though I can say I do like the park, St. Louis, but I just not a situation here that I want to play.
Yeah, I would agree coming off the doubleheader, and yeah, no thanks. I'm off.
I hear you there. And then we got Miami going into Houston. Miami just been god awful. Brian Hoeing coming out, and then we got obviously Mr. Chalk Framber Valdez here. I mean, this guy's ground ball rate 58% to righties, 47%. The strikeout percentage 17%. That's why I'm just not all that enamored with the Framber Valdez Chalk, even though Miami's just been bad. There's no power there. So, you're just kind of hoping for him to eat up innings and not really kill you, I think, in that situation. But for the price tag, Eddie is, I mean, I don't mind. So, but I can't even think about playing any kind of leverage here with Miami. I'm not even going there. Miami's just not good enough for me. Now, Houston, on the other hand, I think you could use them. But again, I mean, I liked them a little bit yesterday. But, I mean, it just doesn't – they don't seem to have enough power up and down, especially without guys like, Tucker. They're missing that bat. So, yeah, for me, I don't know. I think I'm going to lay off the Astros a little bit. I mean, they'd probably up there in the top half of the stacks, but they're just not there for me.
Yeah, it's an awkward stack for me as well. Jordan's my only kind of bat I really want to play in this game. I could argue you talked about leverage. I mean, De La Cruz is the only guy that's, hitting with power at all. And I don't know if lineups are out yet, but he would be the only guy if you were trying to, have a really low owned bat versus, 40%. That I would even consider playing for the Marlins. So for me personally, just 2 bats in this game, 1 from each side. And that's going to be about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just, like I said, Framber, I mean, I wish, sitting in a situation like this, obviously Miami being so bad, I just can't. I can't do it. All right, we'll move on. We got another 8-10 game. We got Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. We got Martin Perez going up against the Brew Crew. Now, I will say here, I mean, you sit and think, we can maybe go after Martin Perez. He does have a pretty high ground ball rate. So, I mean, man, I don't like the Brewers against lefties. I don't. They're just not very good. 25th in ISO, I think, against lefties. So I think I'm just going to leave that one alone. And then you go on the other side here with Tobias Myers against Pittsburgh. Nothing there either for me. I'm just going to leave him alone. He is stronger against the righties for as far as K rate goes. Ground ball rate's pretty high against lefties. But nothing here for me on bats. I'll just leave this game alone too.
Yeah, nothing really to call out. And I like Myers a little bit more than the field now as you kind of look at some of these bats. But the only Pittsburgh bat I would entertain would be Brian Reynolds. I know he's expensive. He's like $5K or something. But looking at, some of these stats, I mean, they're still striking out at 23%. So no, this is with the other games and stacks that we have available. I'm going to stay away from this game as well.
Yeah, we're 10 games. Obviously, crossing off a few isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, we're all of our good games at, man. Come on.
They're coming up. They're coming up. I think we're going to have two of them here. Two of the three here left. We're going to have some action. The last one, obviously, with Bassett and Webb on the mound, sitting at a 7. We're not going to really have too much to talk about there. But, so looking at this next one, 9:38 start here. We got Texas at Angels. Man, I'll tell you what, Michael Lorenzen going against the Angels. Not really sure I'm really happy about that one on either side. Low strikeout pitcher. You sit there and think, and you got Rendon sitting there at 2K. Keston Herrera is really cheap. That guy was a highly touted prospect. He's in there as well. He's really cheap. I mean, so this is a really cheap stack if you wanted to look there. The Ranger bullpen sucks. So if you wanted to look at that, I think the Angels are a stack. I wish, the Angels roll out when we have two high-priced pitchers because the Angels probably be a little bit more popular in a spot like this here. So, I mean, I don't mind the Angels here a little bit, but I think I'd more maybe mini stack them. I think, especially if you wanted to go after some higher-priced pitching today, you wanted to go like a Pivetta and a Webb. Maybe you could throw out a couple of these Angels. I mean, obviously you're going to get Rendon. And Herrera, I think, will probably be in that 4 spot. I didn't see if they threw that starting lineup out there yet.
I don't think so. A little bit later.
But he's projected in the 4 spot, so you're getting them both at the top of the lineup. So I don't mind that one there. And then Texas, for me, against Griffin Canning, Mr. Fly ball pitcher himself, especially the left side. Man, give me some Corey Seager again. Give me all these guys. Man, I think the Rangers, for me, are going to be one of the top stacks here today. So I'm definitely liking some Rangers. I like the ballpark. So everything's lining up for me. Rangers lineup is just good all the way up and down. But Angels, as I mentioned yesterday, only have one, I think, lefty in the bullpen. So you're not going to really have to be too concerned really about some of the pinch hit risk either. So definitely like that. Rangers for me going to be one of my top stacks. Corey Seager for me is probably, I think about it off the top of my head, probably is going to be my top bet on the slate.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Josh Smith has been smashing the baseball. Adolis finally found the seats last night. You get him at a discount, and we haven't seen price that low for him in quite a bit. So this is ranking up as one of my top 3 stacks. I'm going to stay away from Marcus Semien and try and get different down the bottom half of the lineup. But for me, if you're stacking, you can't fade Seager or Smith. Yeah,
Seager's seeing beach balls right now. That he's smashing. Definitely need to have some Corey Seager there. But before we get in a few other games, I need to ask you there, what we got Leonard back there?
That's Kawhi. That's the San Diego State jersey right there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, all right.
I don't have that many. I'll mix them in, but San Diego born and raised, and that's a nice little throwback to wear out to the bar, on a Saturday afternoon or something. So people love that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see here. You're a San Diego fan. So I'm a Tiger fan. So 1984, I was 12. I can imagine you probably weren't even around yet, right?
I was 12 years away. So I'm
12
94.
years away. See, man. So so that was that's probably what really got me totally into baseball. I was 12 years old. My team won the World Series, so we had, the Alan Trammels and the Lou Whitakers and, Parishes and Jack Morrises and, so. Yeah. But, I got to see Tony Gwynn, man. That dude was one hell of a hitter, dude. That guy could – some of his stats, you look him up, his strikeouts, he hardly ever struck out. Like it was like unbelievable. Like his
Never.
numbers.
I wish maybe somebody knows it in chat, but there's a stat between comparing his career strikeouts to Ryan Howard in one season. And I think Ryan Howard has more strikeouts in one season than he had an entire Tony Gwynn's career.
I could bet. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny you say that. It's Padres, they've been hot recently, but your moment for the Tigers, win a World Series. Mine was, we didn't even win a World Series, but it was at home. What was this, 2 years ago? Game 4 versus the Dodgers, and down 3-0 in the pouring rain. Dodgers scored, I think, 5. Or I'm sorry, the Padres scored, I think, 5 in the 7th inning, and that was probably my favorite sporting memory ever. Was being in left field. Tickets were, $1,000 a seat, whatever it was, and score 5 runs. Pushing it to a game 5, and man, nothing like that. But we've been one World Series versus the Yankees back in the day. I think we got swept. I was like 4, whatever it was. So
yeah, we should have had
big stuff coming up.
Detroit. How we didn't win in 06 was fucking beyond me with that team we had. I can't even. I'm still hard. I don't understand, but we should have won the one in 06. But either way, Michael, I see you there. Highlighted some of the cards I got up there. I pretty hard to see from here, but I got like Riley Green rookies, Robert rookies, Ohtani rookies, Jordan, Barry Bonds, Gretzky rookie, Lemieux rookie. I got the 3 Hughes brothers, all the 10, Cal Ripken, Ohtani, Mookie Betts a 10, Barry Bonds. I got Alonso autographs, Bobby Witt, short print, Jackson Jobe, who's going to be up here for the Tigers. I think I got a 1 of whatever that is, 50. So, but yeah.
So I don't have any, but this is the card right here, the LaMelo Ball high school card. Nice. This is it. This is my favorite. Not worth any money, but I think, I bought that a long time ago and was all over that. So nothing compares to yours, but this one, that one's probably my favorite that I have.
It was funny. I did some stuff for Woodward Sports Network, and they were like, "Hey, what can you do? Like, we got to build your background behind you." And they saw I had all that stuff, and I had one, so they moved it behind me. I'm like, "Oh, well, that's cool. That looks pretty good." Having the sports cards behind me. But yeah, Gator Nation, 84 Tigers, 35-5. That was insane. That was quite the run. Jack Morris had a no-hitter in that stretch there against, I believe, the White Sox, if I'm not mistaken. But, man, baseball was way different back then. It just, these pitchers, we never heard of a pitch count. There was no such things as shifts. There was no such, Willie Hernandez in 84 was like really one of the first like relievers that really came about. He won the MVP because they never seen a guy come out and just shut down games like that. Like the Tigers only had to be ahead going into the 8th inning and he'd mow everybody and it was over. Like he took care of business. So yeah, definitely some fun back there. But yeah, Peterson, perhaps you're the same age as my daughter. He's telling you there, but hey, it doesn't matter.
I turned the big 30 this year, so I'm a little nervous for that. September, I'm turning 30, so a little nervous. Man. A little nervous.
I wish I was turning 30. I don't even remember what the hell I was doing when I was turning 30. Actually, I think the the Red Wings were winning the Stanley Cup with Darren McCarty against the Flyers when I was turning 30, which I believe was 2002, maybe. I think it was. So, but yeah.
2002. I was in the 2nd grade then, I believe. 2nd grade. Hell yeah.
See, that goes back to that rule, you guys. Remember I said, like when you're out with the ladies, when you get old, the cutoff is half your age plus 7. So like for me, like when, it's like I'm sitting there thinking, all right, 26 plus 7, 33. So, even if you were, somebody asked me about Paul Skeens, what's her name's? What's her?
I don't know.
Olivia Doon or something.
Yeah, something
like that. They were asking
me
to compare her to Kate Upton. I'm like, well, she's under the line, so that I really shouldn't. But Kate Upton, she's all right. She's over the line. I can handle that.
Hey, and I haven't heard that name in a couple of years. That's funny. She was the hit for a couple of years.
Well, yeah. With jugs like that, how can you not? We're all suckers for something we can suck on. That is for sure. So either way. But yeah, so let's we'll keep it moving here with our other game. I think this next one here is another one that's interesting. We got Atlanta going into Arizona. Game total sitting at 9. We got Morton going against the D-backs. I'm not interested in any of these D-backs bats. If I was, he does have a little higher fly ball rate against the lefties, but a little bit higher strikeout rate. I mean, maybe you could look at a Jock Peterson if you wanted to go there, maybe as a one-off. I'm not really all that happy with that. But I'll tell you what I am happy with are these Braves bats against Slade Sassoni. Man, this guy's a fly ball pitcher, especially to lefties, almost 38%. So I'll tell you, man, Olson, Albies, I'm all over these guys here today. I just think this is going to be a good stack. Kalenic as well. So give me some Braves. I think the Braves are going to be one of my favorite stacks here today. So Braves, Rangers are up there, and Mets for me. I think those are my 3 favorite. I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to rank all 3, but I think all 3, if I'm playing 2 or 3 teams, I'm going to have pretty much a mixture of those 3 for me, and I'll mix up some pitching. But Braves for me, I think are going to be one of my favorites here against Sassoni, who has the highest home run rate per 9, and his hard hit rate, especially over here to lefties, is just I don't know, man. I can't get past it. I think he's just going to get his ass kicked here today. So give me some of these Braves, all over the Braves here today.
Yeah, pre-show I mentioned the Braves, and I agree with you. Last 30 days, though, it's kind of remarkable seeing some of these strikeout rates. So we got 31, 31, 30, 33. Don't like to see that, but definitely the power there. After I see those, I'm going to think about, taking some of those full stacks and trying to get those, 2 or 3 mans and kind of hunt some power. I think Ozuna's in play today to go over the wall. He hasn't been, hitting the best, but, he's definitely on that list. And then you mentioned Jock Peterson, I believe. On the Arizona side, I'll be staying away from all the lefties. Just, like I said, the last 49 batting appearances against Morton, 0 extra base hits. So I'm going to stay with the right-handed power there, Walker, Gurriel, and keep that pool small. But Braves are definitely on the top of that list, and I'm going to rethink it a little bit after seeing some of these strikeout percentages. Not that necessarily scared, like you said, but it just, there's nothing worse than, working a walk and working a double and then going strikeout to end an inning when, your stacks are in play. So going to rethink that one a little.
Yeah, I like the Braves. Braves won me, at the beginning of the year. I was like, man, you just play Braves every day, you probably win. And that was the case last year. But this year, I mean, man, they've been down so much all the way as a team. Everybody, but I believe Ozuna is down. So, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying with the strikeout rates. But, man, I'm going to play against the pitcher. I like it here. We're sitting, like I mentioned, game total 9. I think it's in play for me here today. So, I think Braves. There may not be. I will say I think I like the Rangers a little bit more in the Braves, and I think I like the Mets because of the weather more in the Braves. But it's not too much of a difference. But I think I got those 3 in a gap, and then you could probably put like the Reds, whatever else. But I'm just concerned, like I mentioned, about the Reds' power on the right side. That's what gets me there. But Toronto, San Francisco, last game we got here 9:45 out in San Francisco. Obviously, a park we don't enjoy playing. So I think I'm out. 2 good pitchers, Bassett, Webb. No way am I playing any bats here. Over under 7. This wouldn't be in our best interest to go there.
Yeah. I mean, my only highlight really is Lamont Wade. Just, he's always batting up near the top of the order, only 3,600, but he does eat up first base. But yeah, no, I have a little too much love for both of these pitchers in this game. And in my opinion, there's a big difference, obviously, between an 8 and a 7.5, and in Vegas coming out and throwing out a 7 in this game. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to follow the smart guys over there, and I'm just going to attack pitching in this game.
Sounds like a plan to me. I don't blame you there. So, but yeah, so before we run out of here, after we just ran down all of the games here today, give me your top 3 stacks, and then give me a stack that you think will be low owned that can put us over the top.
You talked me into the Mets, so I'm on the fence. We'll go Reds and Rangers as my, first and second as far as my favorite stacks. I'm going to look deeper into the Mets versus the Braves after I saw that strikeout rate. So they're going to be kind of in that bottom mix. And as far as the stack goes, I mean, I'm looking more at the mini stack. I don't think we have very many situations today where a full stack low owned, I'm going to like to play. I'm going to look at maybe some low owned Arizona, getting that righty power, and maybe even talking myself into more of this Oakland A's power, and kind of following what you guys did yesterday with, a high percentage pitcher that could give up a couple of bombs. And you know how the A's work. Sometimes they'll hit a couple and get it going. So I would say minis low owned are going to be Oakland and Arizona.
All right. Now my top 3 stacks that I have, like I mentioned, the Braves, Mets, and Rangers for me. My low owned stack I'm going to roll with today is the Angels, especially that right side. Lorenzen, not really high struck out pitcher, fly ball pitcher to the right side. So you're going to get him really cheap. The Rendons, I like Herrera too, Ward, Drury. I don't mind these guys. So, I mean, that Texas bullpen's bad too. It's one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. So I don't mind the Angels here, and especially that game. If I was going to game stack a game today, I think that's the game I'd game stack, is the Texas and Angels game. Not saying we're going to see a winner game stack as we saw last night with the Red Sox and A's, but I think that one is the one that I think stands out for me. If I was going to bet an over in any game today, it'd be that Texas, and it would be that Angel game. That is for sure. So I think both bullpens are bad. We got a good park. We got pitchers that don't strike out anybody. I mean, it just sits there and lines up pretty nice. And something else too, I'm going to mention. I was fooling around. I like to dick around, look at game, props and stuff on games. Dude, I saw yesterday Ellie was 8-1 to have 2+ steals. I'm thinking to myself, if this is every day, he's 8-1 to have 2+ steals. Like that, I'm like scratching my head going, wait a minute. Like he's going to do that at least 3 or 4 times throughout the week, right? Like,
yeah, well, it wasn't yesterday. I think it might've been Monday, but like what they're saying, it was a walk and he stole second and stole third. And I'm curious how many times he's done that this season. I'm not dialed into that number.
It's been a few. I've watched a few. Yeah. He's done it a few times. Then he stole home the one time. He tried it the same time. He tried it last time too. But dude, he's thinking about stealing that bag. Like they were throwing it back to the pitcher. The catcher's sitting there on his knees. Can't even get up to zing it back and lost it back, and Ellie steals, like a delayed steal. I'm thinking, man, but I mean, 8-1 to get 2+ steals. I was thinking, well, like if I rolled that for a week, you got to win 1 time, break even. I'm thinking I'm going to win that 2 times.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, you got a long-term bet that for like a week or like 5 days. Like, I think you might hit it you could hit it 2 out of 5 days. Like, because he walks, he's literally looking to steal. And I think too, if you probably started paying attention, who he might have in back-to-back series, about, a couple teams, especially teams that give up stolen bases. It might be something to ride for a week or two. I was thinking 8-1. Holy shit. Like this dude's got like 45 bags already. It's not even, he might have 100 bags. Like, I mean, we're talking Ricky Henderson type shit, like Tim Raines, Vince Coleman shit. Like, I mean, back in the 80s, we haven't seen stolen bases like this in a while. It's kind of cool, but so I saw that 8-1. I was just like, wow, that's that
is a number. Okay, I'm gonna check that one out.
Yeah, it's just something I saw when I was farting around. So who knows? But a bunch of us all start jumping on it. It might drop a little bit, but still, I was thinking, man, that just you ride that for a few days. I think the chances of you breaking or hitting are going to be pretty good. So,
you just bet it, what 8-1. You'd bet it. It's the next 16 games, right? That's just what you do. Just take it for the month. And see where you wind up at the end.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. That is for sure. So, but BJ, glad you joined us. We look forward to having you here as we move forward on Wednesdays as we get through. We got to also make sure we mention our sponsors here. I don't want to get ourselves any trouble. So we got Drafters. So if you guys want to get over there, check it out. As Title said, he just started in his best ball Drafters. But hey, you get $100. You don't have an account, get over there. Use the deposit bonus, ship it, the code SHIPIT, get you 100% match up to $100. Got any friends? Put it in for your wife, your friend, dog, sister, daughters, whoever. Get in there, making them account. You get a free $100. Get you some teams. They're $15 a team. You can get over there, check that out, and then make sure too you check out our promo that we have going here. Let me just make sure I pull up the right one. I probably won't, so I don't even know which one to pull up. So I'm not even going to pull it up. How about that one? So let's see here. I don't even know which one to pull up. They don't have the right one. So we're just going to leave that one be. because I don't know. So if you don't know, don't show. That's what I say. So, but I know we were giving it away free. So I think that ended yesterday. So that's probably why we don't have anything. So I'll make sure we get through that one here for next Tuesday when I am back here with title. But hey, I'm going to do up the slate plan. So make sure you guys get over there and check that out. I'll have that up here shortly. And as we mentioned, BJ is always on the post here on the weekend. So you can see all his content over here as well. Been on red hot here over the weekends. I know, BJ, I've been in my camper a few times, kind of drunk as shit. And you're thinking, I'll reserve some teams. And then I always set my alarm if I got something going, maybe, and I leave it like a half hour before. There was a couple times I was just like, all right, check out what you had. Kind of gets me going, thinking, all right, cool, based off, helped me out a few times. So definitely appreciate the work you're putting in. But that's what it's all about. Just get in there, check it out, get some advice. That's all we're here to do.
Yeah. We got the slate plan tomorrow, so we'll do it. So we'll get some winners tonight, from you in the slate plan and the show today, and we'll roll it over to tomorrow. Let's do it.
All right, sounds like a plan. Let's have us a Twitter party here tonight. So hey, for BJ, I am Gyiraszin. Appreciate you guys join us here today, and let's ship it.